This week on the Minding Your Business podcast, Cultivating Comedy, Tim and Tina, and Answers Without Asking, the Psychology of Persuasion. Welcome to the Minding Your Business podcast. I'm CJ Jolliffe with everybody's favorite co-host.
Love that introduction, by the way, Aaron Gerald. Yeah, it never gets old. Honestly, I really appreciate that.
I thought about changing it this week. I was actually thinking this morning, like, is it stale? Like, do we try something? I actually thought I was just going to surprise you, but I was like, I kind of like it.
Okay, well, sticking with it was a nice surprise. I appreciate that. Okay, so we've been on again, off again. You kind of been battling being sick.
Yeah.
And then coming back and it's kind of getting over that hump of starting again and going back into it, getting back into
a regular
mode.
basis. Yeah.
Yeah, it does get it's strange because even though I enjoy it a lot, when we skip a week, it's like I get out of the habit and then it's kind of gone. Okay, so couple of things. I got a couple things. If you're cool, I'll start and then you can bring in the actual.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I just realized I hadn't put my
didn't have your ear things in.
Yeah.
All right. So first things, I have been working on YouTube. It is strange because my desire for it has sort of changed. I wanted to do it before because I thought, man, I would enjoy it so much. Like that would be my life. I would just be a content creator, be creating stuff and making video and doing it. And every time I would lean into it, I would hate it so bad that I'm like, if I had to do this for longer than I can't do it. Like I couldn't go longer than a month without switching the platform, switching the direction, the type of videos, the content, the everything. I just got so bored so quickly. I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And I have to admit that my new channel with my new way of doing it, I would love to say that I didn't slip into that old pattern, but I sort of did. And I used chat as my grounding. I chatted up chat and was like, listen, does it make sense for me to try and, make a shift? Like I've made 3 whole videos and I'm not successful yet. And so nobody's even heard of my channel. And so I kind of prefaced it with, should I shift into more absurd, more stuff? And it's like, what do you want to be, a clickbaity, like internet flash in the pan? Or do you want to actually genuinely make stuff you want to make? So you'll come back week after week creating content you genuinely enjoy.
Right.
Even if that means it's going to take a long time for the people who would enjoy your sense of humor and your vision of what those films can be to find you.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, okay, fair enough. But then I'm like, but isn't that so boring for me to just make the same thing over and over, even if I enjoy it, but the other people aren't going to enjoy the same thing over and over? And then it occurred to me, and I love having epiphanies, especially when I'm talking to myself. I tend to argue with myself a lot, not publicly, but I do it privately. And I came to the conclusion that I watch videos of people, let's say creators or YouTube personalities, as long as they stay true. And they got to stay true. Like I watched Binging with Babish for a very long time when he was basically no one and moved on up. And I enjoyed his videos, his style of making the videos, the things that he was doing. And then he got too big for his britches, and now he's hired someone else to take his place to be the hands doing the videos and then and I'm like, no, it's the same style video, but I'm like, nope. They're still making food and doing the thing the same way, the same angles, it's the same, but it's not. And it's just enough different that I'm disinterested.
Okay.
And I'll watch other videos and I'll think to myself, man, I love this video. I love the content. I love the way that he filmed it or she filmed it. I love all of it. I'll go to their channel and subscribe, and I get to their channel and I'm like, oh, this is the only video they made on that topic. Never mind. And then I bounce and I realized I am exactly the person who looks for someone who stays consistent. It's because that consistency is the thing I know I can come back for. So when I'm making these videos and I've got the recurring jokes and the thing and the timing and the way that I'm doing it, and I'm having a blast doing, I have to assume that there will be people that will find my channel, watch my video and go, "This dude sucks," and bounce. Good.
Right.
And then there will be people that's like, "Oh, dude, that's funny." And I like that. And then they watch another video and they go, "Okay, he's doing the same I get it." I want that anticipation to build where they're waiting for those recurring jokes to hit and land, and then they're funnier. Like
Yeah.
getting to know my personality, my wit, my dry sense of humor, my sarcasm, all of those things, I think I understand. I'm not
Yeah.
everybody's cup of tea. And I understand that in other genres and other areas of my life, but it's taking a while for it to matter there, for
Mhm.
it to sink in and be like, no, I really like not everybody's going to like what I'm doing. They're not going to like the style. They're not going to like the whatever about it. Okay. But there will be some. And I have to give them a chance to find me so
Right.
that they can enjoy it. And I really only want them because I want
Right.
people that are like, dude, I love that joke about, I want them to tell me and then go, you know what would have been even funnier is if you would have put it, because too often I'm making the videos and then I'm worried that I'm going to insult somebody or I'm going to offend somebody and I'm like, I just want it to be funny, but like, I want if they don't know me well enough to know that that was a joke, like that was sarcasm,
Right.
that was just me being dry and doing well, I have to make enough videos for them to get to know me enough to be able to say that. And then I'll
Right.
have enough fans that if somebody comes in and is offensive or offended, that they'll go, dude, you just got to watch more of his videos. It's that's not what he meant. Like this is
Right.
genuinely just meant to be funny. And so um and I know that's the case because I am a big fan of this isn't a plug for him, but Tom Segura is hysterical. But the first time you watch him, you're like, bro, dude, come on, come on. And but then if you watch multiple things, then you're like, oh, I get it. That's just your
Yeah.
sense of humor, and he's really, really funny. But you have to learn. It's an acquired taste.
Right. Right.
His humor, which all humor, pretty much that. And then any humor that isn't that, that's like, oh, everybody loves that.
Ugh.
It just sort of comes and goes, and you
I was gonna
just like,
say,
I don't
like,
know why I thought that was funny.
not that you have to be offensive with comedy, but it should at least be somewhat polarizing,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
think some of the best and funniest comedy is one, relatable, and then
Yeah.
two, like just a little ridiculous. So I
And
don't think you can.
I'm not under any illusion that I'm a comedian. I see the work that they put into the jokes that they do. And
Right.
even my little videos, like I get it. I have to rewrite those things so many times. And again, it's hard because I'm trying to put out a video a week. Like I get comedians, they'll work on their routine for a year and they hit comedy club after comedy club and tweak, tweak, tweak.
Yeah.
I love that process and they get to do it in front of a live audience, which I
Right.
don't. And that brings me to my next thing. I know it's a little early to be thinking Patreon and whatever, but I think even if I did it on a Patreon with a low barrier of entry, like $0 or $1, but you could come in and help me in my process of making the videos. I'll do a dry run of just me doing the voiceover, just the spoken part, without the AI buildup and the enactments and all
Right.
of those
Right.
things, and then get input because I love the live input of people being like, "Dude, you should have paused a little longer right there," or "You should have went
Right.
made the face," or "You should have." To sell the joke, you have to do something different because sometimes I'll do it. I'll tell the jokes. I'm laughing in my head the whole time. I'm writing them. I'm reading them. I'm doing the voiceover. I'm doing the timing, and I think it's hysterical. Then I go back and watch the video, and I'm like, "Oh, I so should have paused there. I so should have done the look where I can see after the fact what I should have done in during."
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of like repetition and doing it over and over and over, which is great, but it also kind of kills the funny because once I've told that joke the 40th time where now my timing is on point, it's no longer funny to me. So I
Right.
need to say it in front of other people to see their reaction to where they're like, dude, that's it. Then it's re-funny again for me. Like I get to see it
Yeah.
through vicariously through other people's eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking and still toying with the idea of creating a private page, a Patreon membership or whatever, where they can see the rough drafts of the videos and then could say, dude, here we go. Let's do this or lean the joke more this way or be go
Yeah.
farther. I see where you're
Right.
going with that, and I see why you pulled back, but go all the way with it, like, kind of a
Yeah.
thing. And I feel like that feedback would make it all worth it
Yeah.
because it does sort of kill it without having the live, which is why I really appreciate us recording the podcast live so much more than when we used to do it and then go, "That didn't land right. Let's redo it again." And so
Right.
we can't retake stuff. We can't if
Right.
we screw up live. We screw up for reals
Yes.
and we're like, it is what it is because it's
Yep.
live. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's me. That's the update on that. And then that being said,
Well, I
I
wanna
was
I
kind
wanna
of
dig into that, like, I mean, I don't wanna
oh,
move on
go
from
ahead.
that so quickly because I
Sure,
really
sure.
do think that's a great idea. I mean, just like you were
Okay.
talking like comedians, right? So they'll go through and they have their set or they're working on a joke, or, whatever,
Right.
and they test it in different
Right.
places, and, like, they get to know what works and what doesn't because of the live audience. They get feedback instantly. Where you're having
Right.
to, like, put this thing out in the world, and then after it's live, you're like, "Okay, well, I could have done that better.
And
So next time
yeah.
around, I'll do this." And so much of I think just in watching the Being Bernard stuff that you're doing, like, so much of it is relying on pace. And
Yeah.
so you're and the fact that you're editing, you're seeing the same thing over and over and over. That's just editing, and that's how it works. It's desensitizing you to the humor.
Right.
Um,
Yes.
and so by the time you get to a finished product, you're probably like, I've heard this 40 times. It's not, ha ha
Yeah.
ha. And so I think if you did have a rough draft, you could bring people in, at, different times. You could, post a
Right.
script on Discord or something, but you could do if your inner circle people that pay
Uh-huh.
$5 a month or whatever, like
Sure.
could be let in on that like rough draft. Like here's what it looks like. And then
Here's what I'm
you could
thinking.
literally play
Right.
it and do a premiere with a hidden link on YouTube and have like a live Discord chat, right? And hear their reactions, right? So you could sit there and go, okay, that one needed a little more timing, or that one needs to be, tightened up a little bit, and then they could also give you feedback. But I think hearing it live, this is the reason they screen movies, like before they actually release them. Many, many
Yeah.
times people are watching them
Right.
and making notes. So I would say just in general, you
Sure.
probably need to leave a little more padding in there than you think it needs. And I'm not saying a lot,
No, I
but
understand.
just
So
I mean,
just
10%, 5%.
yeah, just from my last video where I tightened everything up, thinking, man, let's tighten it up because I'm watching it, I'm listening to it, listen to it. I go, I need to speed all this up. So I actually went back and re-recorded the voiceover and did it faster,
Okay.
which is fine. So it meets the pacing and it made it okay. When I watch it, I know what's coming, so I'm prepped for it. So by the time
Right.
I see it, it fits my perception.
Yeah.
But other people seeing it for the first time go, "Boy, it just jumped right to that joke." And then by the time I thought to myself, "Well, that's a little bit," I couldn't even say to myself, "That's funny," because you were already halfway through the next sentence. And then they're like, "It's
Yeah.
so fast, you have to slow
Right.
down."
And that's the
Talking to
thing,
you in
like
real life is different than watching
right,
you because talking to you, you'll see that we're playing it in our head, and then you add one more little boop, and then it boom,
right.
kicks it over, and it's funny. But I don't have that
What you need is
when
like,
I'm recording.
you need
So
a laugh track that you don't put in there, but you put it in there for editing, and you just sit there
for
and like,
myself, so I
yeah.
can
So it's like on your bottom level of your layers, on your audio, and you're just like, okay, insert laugh track here. I mean, just as a reminder, because that's one of the problems with fast-paced comedy is you'll miss 30-40% of the jokes when they just keep
right.
flying at you, you know? Because when you're
Yes,
laughing, you're not hearing the next thing, especially when it's, like, really
correct.
good,
And
you
the
know?
jokes are thought provoking anyway. And I know that I do jokes that are cerebral, like make you think a little bit, and then you go, and then you apply it to your life, and then it's funny because it only is funny because it reminds you of your dad, your uncle, yourself, your mom, your
Right,
aunt, like whatever, cousin.
right,
And so it's because of that connection, tuk, 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 as the neural pathways connect, that you go, that's funny. But then you have to pause it or rewind it because I've already said five other things. And so
right.
you missed it.
Exactly.
And my thought was, yeah, they'll rewind it. I get the extra views. and that's not what's happening.
That's not what
Instead, they
happened.
go,
Yeah.
"That's too fast. Never mind."
Yeah, for
He's
the record, what's the user experience like when you rewind something on YouTube?
yeah, not fun,
Not the
not
greatest.
great.
No, no.
No, no,
And it doesn't
not good.
matter what medium you're on, what channel you're, if it's TV, maybe the best is
Right,
actually on the phone. I
mobile.
don't know.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, man,
even
I
then,
can tell you, like, I personally would like think that was a blast. Like, kind of getting the behind the scenes look at you know the
the
development.
first couple when I was
Yeah,
having help. It's
yeah,
strange too because I really enjoyed the process of that so much more than just putting it out, but I thought, "Man, I'm gonna surprise everybody with a super fun" because in my opinion, the 3rd episode is the funniest. There are more jokes in that, and there's some
yeah.
flashback jokes and some new, like, recurring things that start to create, like, all sorts of but it
I'm
happens
loving the
so
recurring
fast.
jokes. Oh my gosh, I'm loving some of that stuff.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
and some
for
hidden
example, for
there's
someone that hasn't watched any of these things, like my son and I watched it together, and you made a reference in the 3rd episode to like um, a woman in the group. Her name was Madison, and I stop and I look at my son. I'm like, Madison with a Y, you know, which is ridiculous. But anyway, I know you did that on
yeah,
purpose. You
with
had
the
to have.
"Why?" Yes,
Why? Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. No, I it is really fun to hide things in there. My hope is that people will see it, think it's funny, and they'll find different things funny. Like some people will watch that episode and not catch the Madison thing
right.
and move right on and just say, "Oh yeah, well Madison, yeah, she's, she believes in astrology." Okay. But those that have watched the previous videos will see that and go, "Ah," and then it mentally calls them back to that and they go, I got to watch that one again. And then they
Yeah,
go and watch it again. The hope here is to create a spiderweb series where the callbacks make you want to go back and see that other one again. And so you tend to go through them. They're short, they're all under 5 minutes
yeah.
anyway. So hopefully they're fun and
I think they're
yeah,
a blast, and I'm already seeing like this universe that you're building. With these characters that are interrelated.
yeah. And
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
yeah, it'll be fun. But the hope too is someday I get other people's buy-in to where they're like, "Dude, can I be one of the?" I would love that. First of all, easy people like you who know how to set up cameras, you could set the camera up and
Right,
do the client stuff from your sofa. If I sent you
right,
the script and then said, "Overact it, make it absurd," like go for it. And you would be like, "Yeah, but I don't have a microphone." You don't need a mic. Your
right,
voice isn't
right.
actually going to be in it. I'm going to be voicing your part anyway.
Which
Like
also is one of my
it's
favorite pieces.
yeah. So
Hearing you do the
I feel
voiceover
like
for the character.
yeah. So when that's a recurring thing, that hopefully builds comedy, as it goes. So
Yeah,
we'll see. I just so far I'm having a lot more fun with this. I do know that I'm while I feel like I understand the platform of YouTube more, it sort of also kind of doesn't matter yet because I don't think I have enough content out there for it to matter yet. But I
right,
also see like the ultimate goal isn't to build a channel with 5 million subscribers because I don't need to make ad money. I don't, that's not my thing.
right,
My ultimate goal is to make something where I can make people's lives a little more enjoyable, where they've got something to look forward to each week to watch that little show and go,
yeah,
God, that's so stupid and so silly, but it makes me see my life differently
right,
because I don't have to take everything quite so serious. So I take serious topics, make them absurd, and then take the treatment of them serious again.
right,
So
right.
it's sort of a back and forth thing.
Well,
But I
and
take it
yeah, I could be
serious
biased, but it's super
by
entertaining.
a character who is also absurd. Like
Right,
so
right.
the relation between absurdity and serious goes back and forth, like a little tennis match or ping pong, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the heads up. I think I want to do that. I'm going to start looking into the feasibility of it. I don't want to get too far in. I'm already so stretched with trying to figure out how to prompt AI, which is a nice segue into the next section of AI prompting that I wanted to talk about.
Mhm.
But before I get into prompting the audio stuff for that other new podcast I made, um, temporary testing podcasty thing that I'm
Yeah.
doing, the Tim and Tina. This one, I have to prompt AI for the video part of the little movies that I'm making, and that in and of itself has just been it's so difficult because just as I learn how to utilize prompting to get the thing to do what I want, they come out with an update. And
Right.
now it's like, no, it's even easier. And I'm like, oh shoot, now the thing I learned to do now doesn't apply. And it's happening weekly.
Yep.
And new AIs are coming out and the ones that are being updated and like well, for instance, Grok, which before was only a language model, now offers video and image, but only on mobile unless you log in through X on a desktop, but then it's limited. So I have to use mobile. So I end up using Bard and Runway and HeyGen and whatnot and Sora on the desktop. Then I save an image of it and I send it to my phone. Then I open the image, then use the image as the starting graphic for the new video, and it'll create a 5-second video randomly. Then I can go in and adjust it and make adjustments. And sometimes I make it worse and sometimes I make it better. And it's a new
Right.
AI. And so it is what it is. But I also can't afford to do it because that's free. So
Right.
which explains why in a couple of the videos it looks like Jack in 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 the imposter Jack video, yeah, episode 3. It looks like he has bandages and no legs, and then the legs
Okay.
pop out. But okay, so there was some rough AI in there, but I'm just hoping like that the video parts that are AI are just supplementary. They're just kind of
Right.
complementary things that kind of give you a visual to understand the jokes better that you're hearing, which is why all of the spoken part is all uncut, one take. And I do it until it's right, until I get it
Right.
to where I want it to be, which sort of messed with me when I went back and redid it and then sped it up. So anyway, I know better than to do that now. Um, so well, I guess the fun part is the testing and the iteration. Now it
Yeah.
is difficult on YouTube because I can't redo the same video and put it back out
Right.
without killing my channel because then they're like, oh, duplicate materials, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And they don't like that. So it's like, okay. And I
This
don't
we've
want,
talked about this before. Use TikTok for that
yeah. And well,
because you
those
don't
are
get
all shorts.
penalized.
Those are all the 1 minute things, which
But yeah,
I
like
could be doing where I could test the opening lines, and I
yeah.
probably should. I
And
just
do like
I'm not doing
do it
this
in
full
3
time yet.
yeah, do it in 3 parts. You'll get literally
Yeah.
3 times the I mean, 3 times the views just
Yeah.
if you do it in 3 parts.
Well,
I
and
mean, like
I should be testing the opening line, the initial hook joke, which I finally added in episode 3. I didn't have that before. Um, oh, let me ask you, because you're a word person. I mean, a speller. Anyway, you understand words better than me. Um, is
I'm
there a
just learning to
such
read.
word as disclaimer spelled with a Y, like dystopian, like disclaimer, not a disclaim, like you disclaim it, because my written disclaimer in the beginning is a disclaim, like I'm dissing you with this
I've
claim.
not to my
I don't
knowledge.
know if it's an actual term or if I'm making it up, but like I woke up in the middle of the night last night and went, shoot, I need to write the word disclaimer spelled DYSCLAIMER.
Yeah,
It's not a real
not that I
thing.
know
Okay, I'm
of,
gonna
and
coin
I'm
it.
not seeing anything on the internets.
Urban. Okay, good. So I'm going to coin it. We're going to call it a disclaimer. So it's just a dysfunctional disclaimer
Sure.
as the initial part because I want it to flash quick enough that people think it's a disclaimer unless they're paying attention. And then they realize it's a recurring joke that
Right.
has a different disclaimer each time that's also insulting.
Right. Which I did like
So
how in episode 3, how you switched. You actually had your talking, like you were talking first, and then you went to the
put the
disclaimer.
hook first,
Yeah.
which I think makes more sense. And you'd kind of explain that to me about the first couple of seconds you're trying to open it up into the full screen so you can watch it anyway, and you miss
Right.
the disclaimer, which I think needs to be read. It needs to be flashed on the screen. What's so strange is like my pace of reading is obviously different than my wife's, and she types at 120 words a minute. Like she's stupid amazing fast when it comes to that. I think I type like 6 words a minute because of and I look at the keys. So
Yeah.
I assume everyone reads and does it faster than me. And so I'll read it and I'm like, cool, that 3/4 of a second or that full second or point 0.8 of a second is plenty. And she's like, I had to rewind it 3 times just to read it.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And
need
I
to
was like,
read it out loud.
oh,
Like in when you're timing that, just do like don't
oh,
record it, but
that's
just
the
read it out
key.
loud. Like however long it takes you to say it is probably how long it's going to take someone that's watching your video to comprehend it.
Okay. And then I need to know logistically if it makes sense to have it there, or am I killing my retention, my view, my them staying there? Like it's ideal for follow up or repeat viewers. It sells to them. It lands.
Yeah.
But for a new person for discovery, maybe not. Or do I just take new viewer discovery and say they're going to discover me through shorts.
I actually think it's going to
And
do the
all my
opposite.
long videos are just series videos for repeat viewers.
Well, my thing is like, so if someone is swiping, right? They're just kind of like going through shorts or TikTok or whatever. If they see the disclaimer first, they're going to keep swiping, probably. Whereas if you
Yeah.
give that hook first, you've got their attention and then you're going into, I mean, I think you have a better chance with the hook first.
Me too, especially on the long form videos.
Yeah.
And then, but I think I ultimately my thought is I'm just going to make the long form videos for people who've seen more than one,
Right.
because then they're not watching it going, why are you re-explaining that you're Bernard? We know you're Bernard. We know you're a character. We know that this is like, just do all the recurring jokes to where when they watch the next one, they can anticipate all the recurring jokes, see the
Yes.
new stuff that kind of filters in and out, and then say, I got exactly what I thought I'd get, so
Yeah.
that they want to watch the next one if they liked it. And if they didn't, they know exactly what the rest of them are. They can leave.
Right. Right.
And then that way, new viewers, they either fold into the universe or they fold out. And
Right.
that if they want to be shocked and surprised and interested in whatever, they can do that with the shorts. And I can be a little bit more experimental with the shorts.
Yeah.
And then if they like what's there, they can come and watch one and go, oh, I like this. They'll watch the series and then watch them all and go, yeah, that was what I thought I was going to see.
Yeah.
And then it's okay. Or they go, no, not for me. So I think that's where I'm kind of landing
Yeah.
on that.
Well,
Okay. So as far as prepping, oh, go ahead.
no, go.
Oh, as
You go
far
ahead.
as prepping the AI and learning to prep and prompt the the auditory only, which I find is a completely different ball game, which I think is why I'm liking it. But creating the Tim and Tina podcast is so
Yeah.
difficult because I don't get to write it and then just have them read it. It's it's honestly turning them loose on the material, the
Right.
source material, and having them write their own thing. So I've been being more and more and more and more and more directive in the prompt of what I'm asking them to provide in their deep dive overview.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to see if it's changed over time and if it's more or less listenable.
Okay. So I have listened to, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes.
Okay.
um the one I listened to, like the first one I listened to was the Severance one, because I was like,
Okay.
okay, well, I was picking
I
like
like Severance. Yeah.
with what shows do I know,
Have
right?
an interest in. Mhm.
Yeah, like I listened to one, but I wasn't familiar with the show, so I wasn't like as engaged.
Sure.
I thought was like what I thought was interesting was like some of the theories in the Severance one, right? Stuff that I didn't know,
Uh-huh.
and I am not going to take the time to search online to
Look
see the
into
fan
it or
theories and that kind of stuff. But
right.
I actually found it really entertaining. And then, so I can't remember which other ones I've listened to, but I just this morning was listening to the Daredevil Reborn.
Uh-huh.
Is that a newer one?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, that brand I just barely got that one up. I
okay,
just did it the other day. I ended up actually skipping like 2 days unintentionally because I got busy in the therapy office and I
sure.
wasn't able to get them ready and to do it because I wish it was as easy as just like do it, put it, done. and it's
Right.
not. I
No,
actually have to
nothing is.
go in and then get all the source material that I want to use and
Right.
then discard the ones I don't want to use and then bring that over and then prompt the AI to write the the podcast so it talks about the things that I want that it to talk about, and
Right.
then sometimes it takes 3 iterations to get it to where it's there we go. That's the
Yeah.
one. And sometimes there's still weirdness in it, but I'm like, I'm not redoing it again because
Right.
sometimes there's like a third voice that laughs or a third voice that says a sentence or it cuts out what sounds like 2 minutes of conversation and skips it. And you're like, what just happened there? But I can't fix that.
Okay.
And I
Well, I
could.
can
I've
tell you
tested trying to fix it by dragging that over into Descript and then turning and then typing in additional stuff. But then they're talking like this and then they talk like that. And then it goes
right,
back to it. So it
right.
changes the natural flow of the voice. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not going in and trying to change timing on the voice. So I just leave it as what it is. I'm not trying to pretend they're real people.
Right.
But I want it to be valuable enough that if people were to listen to it, they would go, that saved me some time. I didn't have to go look at those 10 different fan fiction websites and explainers and all of this other stuff. I got a quick synopsis in 15 minutes. It was an enjoyable ride to work. I got to think about different ways of thinking about the show that I enjoy
Right. Well,
or
so
hearing a
the
show
angle
that I
I'm coming
haven't
at it from,
heard.
like,
So,
with Daredevil, I watched the original Netflix Daredevil and, like,
okay.
the 3 or 4, related shows that were on the Marvel Netflix
Yes.
stuff, 10 years ago,
Okay.
whenever it was.
Right.
Um, like Jessica Jones and Luke something. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, Luke Cage. Um, and then there was like Iron Fist, I think also.
Mm,
Anyway, um, and I enjoyed those, so I'm familiar with them, but they didn't tie into the MCU, which
okay.
was annoying. And so basically, here's my experience with your most recent episode. I am aware of a Daredevil Reborn, and had a feeling it had something to do with like a continuation. Didn't know. I have complete Marvel MCU burnout. I just stopped caring because there've been so many things, and I haven't watched any of the most recent things. And I say most recent, like the last year or two, because it's just
Okay.
I don't know. I stopped caring. They killed off some of the like great people, and it's like
Right. And so then
So
you're
basically, in listening to this, though, like I was like, oh, okay, so they're bringing this into the MCU, right? With the new
right.
Reborn, series. It's a continuation of that original Daredevil series. And so it actually like it piqued my interest. And
Okay.
I actually got a lot of value from it. I thought it was really interesting. And now I fully intend, like,
To
I don't
see
know,
it.
is it on Disney Plus? I probably have to get Disney Plus now. Whatever it's on,
I'll have
I'm gonna have to find it,
yeah, I'll have to
um,
check, but it won't
but
be long. If it isn't on there now, it will be in 2 days. Like,
yeah, yeah,
the hope was when I looked that one up because I was like, "Man, I give me a list of stuff that's trending and the most ideal time for launch to put it out, to gather." And so it's supposed to be timing it with release either in the
okay,
theater or on TV. So it's like, "Oh, it's probably coming out by this weekend."
yeah.
So that's why it's coming out in episode today, so that by this weekend you've already heard it, piqued your interest. Saturday, boop, you watch it,
I
kind of
have some
thing.
suggestions for you, not
Okay.
necessarily like strategic things to tie
Okay.
in, like all that, but some shows that are pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
No, I need some new shows and some additional things. I've got some new stuff lined up for this week, and I did pop in a Being Bernard episode where they talk about my show. I'm not kidding. I think the one I'm most impressed with, and I think the reason I'm most impressed with it is vanity, but and ego. It is because they're talking about my show, and like I did give them the transcript to the show. I did talk to them, and then I gave them a synopsis of me and why I'm doing the show.
okay,
And they really did a really good job of expressing that in a way that generates like the idea that it makes it sound watchable. Let me put it that way. It was good enough that when I listened to them talk about it, if I wasn't the one they were talking about, I would be interested in watching the show.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh my God, it almost talks about it in a way that builds it up so much that, like, I don't know if I'm delivering as good a stuff as they're saying
Hmm.
today.
Right.
But it does give me the inspiration to continue doing it, so that I'm giving myself the grace, and I still hold myself accountable probably way too much. I'm still way too hard on myself. But I'm trying really hard to give myself the grace to be like, I don't need to be good until episode 12. And it doesn't need to be really good until episode 24. And then it doesn't need to be kind of great by episode 36 until episode 36. Like, by the time I've been doing it 6 months, I should be pretty polished. Like, I should
Right.
be pretty good at it. I'm gonna
Right.
guess, just because the strides I've made in 3 episodes
Right.
that are going to show and be apparent by episode 4, and my hope anyway. It Whether or not other people recognize the strides I'm making, I know that it took me 16 hours of work to do episode 1.
Yeah.
By episode 3, I did it in 5.5 hours.
Right.
Now, that doesn't include the writing, but I don't consider the writing the work, because I have so much fun writing the jokes and then leaving. And then I come back and then I reread it and I'm like, nope, nope, that's not as funny as I thought it was yesterday. What was I on yesterday? Oh, and then I rewrite it. And then I'll have 4 or 5 versions of the same joke. And then I come back the next day and I go, which is the best of that? And then I do that, or erase the other ones. And then I go, that joke's landed. Now move to the next. And then I have them all highlighted in red, where they're the recurring ones. And
Yeah.
I write it the first draft is not funny. God,
Sure.
the first draft is like setting up the story. And then I go, now how do I make this story funny? Oh, if they were in the office and said that, wait, what if I had them? And then I have to keep rewriting and rewriting. It takes forever. But what's interesting is, like, the funniest jokes don't come to me when I'm sitting here reading it. They come to me when I'm brushing my teeth, when I'm
Yeah.
taking a shower, when I'm driving to work, listening to a podcast about something else. I'm like, and I pause it and I'm like, I got to get this down. And then I have to say it in a voice memo. I woke up in the middle of the night last night, 3 a.m, and I was like, it's disclaimer with a Y. Like, I have to write that so that it's like, it's dystopia. It is a dysfunctional disclaimer. Like, that
Right.
has to be on there, so that that's the thing. Whether that's funny to anyone else, it may not be.
Right.
But I have to put it on there, because now I'm like, now that disclaimer makes sense, because people won't see it as a real disclaimer. They'll see disclaimer. What does that mean? They'll read it, then find the joke, then see the recurring joke that it changes every time and it's super insulting. And
Right.
okay.
Right.
So those things come to me at the most inopportune times. I'll be chopping onions at the house, making up, and then I got to get that joke down, and I'm like, this is funny. And what I think is funny, I understand not everybody thinks it's funny. And the way I think it's funny, sometimes it's like beginning funny. It's like the boiled egg. It's not egg salad yet, but I got the boiled egg. Now I need to
Right.
add the other pieces to it. Now the joke works and it's good. And I would love to be able to have an inside group of people who get my sense of humor, where I can test the jokes before they're on the videos. I would freaking love that. If, oh
Yeah.
my God, every Thursday night, every Wednesday or Friday night, I'm like, okay, here's the script for not this week, but the next week's one. And so here's the thing. And then I do it. And then I'm like, and next week, and then that recurring joke where I'd say what next week's is. Oh, I've got like a list of like 15 of those that I want to do, but which one ties in best from this one?
Yeah.
So that it, and they go, no, 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 no. It needs to be, I would love to be able to run stuff by people and have them give me the pointers where they're like, you are 80% there. We can get you 95% the way there.
Well, it's a matter of finding those people, but they're out there. I mean, I
Yeah,
know of
I
a
have to
YouTube
think they are.
channel, like this guy does like, you know, 10 best cities to, live in if you're a family, kind of thing, or places
Right.
that, like it's all about like different cities around the US. And he's getting all these statistics and he's just making videos and like he does lives on like, I don't know, Thursday or Friday night. And there's freaking people on there and they're just like, it's strangest thing to me. Now, don't get me wrong, I watched a lot of his
You
videos.
were on it, like, you were there enough to
I
see
know
that this
about it because
happened,
I
so
yeah, but it was,
you
but
watch
if you
it.
think about it, like, I mean, I don't really watch his videos anymore because I decided, we moved, but when we were like looking
Right.
for, where we were gonna move when we left California, I watched every single one of his videos that came out. I watched a lot of them that were backlogged, and
Yeah.
you know, anyway, those people are out there. And same thing with
Yeah.
like the Y files. We talked about that last episode.
Yep.
Like he has people that are on Discord all the time when he's not even on
Yeah.
there, and they're
Yeah.
having discussions. So there is an audience
Oh,
out there
okay,
for
that makes sense.
everything.
I'm so unfamiliar with Discord. I could probably get my son to teach it to me because he's on there and he's got a couple of groups that he's a part of that he,
Yeah. It's,
um,
I mean, I don't use it
novelists
much,
and
but
authors and stuff that he like gets into. But um, yeah, maybe I'll have to look at it. I don't have the bandwidth at this moment to add that to my plate,
that's
but I'll
literally
keep
the
it on.
easiest
I'll
thing
keep it
that
on
would
my
be on
list.
your plate. Yeah. I mean, Mr.
Yeah,
Prompting AI to
God,
do all
it's
these
so
things.
hard for me to keep to get stuff off. My brain really wants to do everything all the time, and
I
I
understand.
can't. So, God,
So
we've been talking for 40 minutes. We haven't even talked about the actual thing we came on the podcast to do,
yeah,
which
well,
was
but
something. I didn't
good
even give you the
segue.
opportunity to talk about it.
I was listening to some stuff on a podcast the other day,
Okay.
and it was this guy who's basically like, I think he was like, I don't know if he was like ex CIA or something. He was basically some kind of
Okay.
mentalist type thing, where
Sure.
bend people to his will, and so I find that
Okay.
super interesting.
Sure.
Not that
Yeah,
I'm,
me too.
you know, manipulative, though I am an only child, so
Yeah.
whatever, I am
Yeah.
entertained by the world around me and trying to bend it towards my will. So anyway,
Sure.
he was talking about how like you get people to talk, like get them to give you answers, like information that they wouldn't normally share. And so he was basically describing this process of like getting answers without asking questions. Because like when
Okay.
you ask someone a question like, oh, do you like your job? That
Yeah.
like, there's something that pops up in their brain like, should I answer this or not? There's a
And how should I answer it? And they maybe get
yeah.
defensive and
Which
then
version
yeah.
of the story do I give, right?
Do I try
Um,
and impress or do yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So like, for example, and this is what reason I bring this up because I want your input on this stuff because it actually reminded me him talking through these things. It reminded me of some of our conversations. Um,
Okay.
and like he was saying, like, he had to go, someone challenged him to find out how much the stalker at the grocery store was making per hour, like how much they got paid.
Okay.
But he couldn't ask
Right.
any questions. And so he walked in and he went up to this stalker and said, "I'm looking for the broccoli. Where's the organic broccoli?" Or no, he couldn't.
Okay.
Okay, he didn't ask, right? He didn't say
No, you
where's
can't ask
right. So
where's
he
the
said,
organic broccoli.
"I'm looking
I'm
for the
looking for
organic
it.
broccoli," right? And so she took him over, and as she's leading him there, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I just heard that your union, like, got an agreement, and so everyone's making at least $22 an hour. Congratulations!" And she's like, "What? I haven't heard anything about that. We only make 17.50." And so it was like that kind of thing. And I mean, that was an actual example. Another was like getting an Uber, you know, and not asking the driver, "Do you like your job?" But saying like, "I was just watching a YouTube video about being an Uber driver. It seems like it's really really cool. Like awesome that you picked this, for your making a living." And the guy's like, "Oh, well, if you really knew what it was like." And then he was like followed up with like, "Well, my cousin's an Uber driver, and she told me, man, she has some stories that she can't even tell." And then that prompted him to start giving, divulging the stories. And I just thought it was
Right.
incredibly interesting. Again, these are things that reminded me of some of your, I don't want to say tricks because that's probably not
Techniques. It's
techniques.
not
Thank you.
tricks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, how far off? Like, is this just like, is it just entertainment? Was he just like blowing smoke, or is that like a real
No,
thing?
No, it's honestly, I feel like it is. Well, it's one of the lesser used things. So I understand why he would use that as a FBI or CIA or whatever, because it does make sense. It is a backdoor to get people to open up and
Okay.
talk because they don't believe that you've asked them for their opinion or their input. They
Right.
don't get defensive because they don't feel as though they were asked. So you're not coming in through the front door, you're climbing in the window.
Okay.
And by doing that, you're bringing up incorrect information, which they then want to correct. So
Right.
then they feel good about themselves. So there's a couple of ways to do it. I enjoy the not asking questions way. That's definitely the way to do it. But you can do a couple of this is what I was taught anyway. Is you can do a couple of soft opens to get in to get somebody to talk. Number 1 is you say maybe you can help me. Shows that you're vulnerable, that they're better than you, and then they then can step in and be the hero. So you can make
Sure.
them feel good about themselves. And this one works really, really well for people who want to feel valued, who don't maybe necessarily, or they feel
Right.
like their efforts aren't being recognized. So again, I don't want to be a Oh, I am. I was gonna say I don't want to be a jerk, but it's gonna come across that way. But let's say young mothers, right? They don't get any recognition for what they're doing with the children and all the work that they're doing and all the stuff. So when you ask, they almost have compassion fatigue at this point. Like they don't want to help anyone else.
Right.
However, if you ask them, maybe you can help me, but you're asking for help without asking for help. If you said,
Right.
"Can I get you to help me?" They're like, "Geez, another one."
Right.
But if you said, "Maybe you can help me," you're giving them permission not to.
Yeah.
And then you say, "I'm looking for the broccoli. I'm looking for, the best. I need a pest control company that's local because I just don't want to use one that's, one of those big companies." And they're like, "Oh my God, you know what? My cousin does do that." And then they jump in and they help you. And then you're like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." So all you've said is, maybe you can help me. I'm looking for a specific thing. I'm
Right.
interested in something. And then you haven't asked any questions yet. So then they can say, "Oh, I know the answer to that." And then they can feel important, feel
Yeah.
valuable, feel valued. And then you thank them and then you're on your way. Or you can just give information that's known to be incorrect
Okay.
or assumed to be incorrect, knowing that they will want to correct you so that they feel important in a different way. So this would be somebody who's much more type A,
I was gonna say it's
business
gonna
owner,
work on me.
CEO, that kind of a thing, to where you go, "You know what? Correct me if I'm wrong." Okay, now you've just teed it up for them. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I plan to.
Oh man.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you how you're wrong."
The
And
hairs on
you
the
go,
back of my neck are
"But
standing up.
don't this doesn't this mean that, or doesn't these people do this or something?" And they go, "No, in fact," and then they will just blurt out everything.
Oh
Like you
god.
can get people to say whatever you want by simply saying the wrong thing. "Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always understood this." You've not said, "Am I right or am I?" You've just said, "If I'm wrong,
Mhm.
here you go.
Right.
Tell me I'm wrong." People love to do that.
Oh man.
And so you're just soft pitching them an easy way to then spill the beans and tell you exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
I
that would work
wouldn't
really,
say,
really well on me
yeah,
because
I
I
wouldn't.
like I am a facts person and
Mhm.
misinformation is injustice.
Yeah. And so, especially when you know the answer
Right.
and you know they don't know the answer, or at least you
Yeah.
assume they don't
Oh,
know the
gotta
answer,
fix
you
it.
want to tell them
Oh
the
yeah.
answer. I got to fix this right now. Um, yeah. And I wouldn't say that I use this a lot in therapy.
That was gonna be my next
But that's,
question.
yeah. Well, two things. Number one, that's one of my favorite phrases, is "I wouldn't say,"
Mhm.
or "I didn't say," or "I'm not
Mhm.
saying,"
Mhm.
because I am saying, I just said it, right?
Right.
But I wouldn't say that I use it in therapy. I just said I use it in therapy. You
Right.
understood me to mean
Right.
I use it in therapy every day, but I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that.
Right. You know
Right.
you did.
Why? Because if I say I'm manipulating people to get them to open up and talk to me, well, then I'm a bad person because I'm manipulating them,
Right.
I suppose, or I'm getting them to divulge the thing their problem, that they're having too much trouble articulating and explaining, but asking them in a way that isn't, "Can you articulate that and tell me that in a clear and concise manner so that I can understand what you mean?" And they're like,
Right.
"No, I'm just
Right.
feeling off." And I'm like, okay, what's off feel like? And they're like, I don't know if I knew. Like it puts them in a place where they need to defend their position of not knowing.
Right.
So instead of that, all I do is I don't ask them to identify anything. I just simply say something that I think is wrong, or correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't it feel like this? And they're like, "No, it feels like this." And then they
Yeah.
explain exactly how it feels. So
Right.
then I go, "Oh, okay." And so I mean, unless I'm wrong, like you enjoy that, right? And then they can tell me how they feel about it.
Mhm.
Well, it's my understanding that most people like that. Why would they like it? It's because then they can tell
Right.
me what it
Right.
is without saying, I feel like this. They can say, it feels like that. So it gives them that dissociation from the feeling so that they can explain it from a third person perspective, which
Yeah.
allows them just enough distance from it to talk about it. That
Yeah.
way it doesn't feel personal.
That's
So
some
the
3D chess
technique
right
I
there.
think that they're using, I think that's awesome. I
Yeah.
think it works really, really well. And it isn't a matter of manipulating people. It's just a matter of using words properly. It's a tool. It's like you can use a screwdriver to loosen screws.
Yeah.
But when you fully understand what a screwdriver is, you can use it to pry open paint lids. You can use it to jimmy open locks. You can use it uh, up for all sorts of other things
Yeah.
because you understand that it is a useful tool beyond what it was designed for. So
Yes.
words are designed to um, transmit thoughts and images, right? Ideas between two people. And then you're like, wait, do I use the direct approach, which I know is going to get lost in translation and paint the wrong picture? Am I, it goes back to that idea, am I responsible for what I say or
Mm.
am I responsible for what you hear? If
Right.
you take the idea that it's more important for me to make sure that you hear what I'm thinking than what I'm saying, then you paint the picture a different way. You use words so that they make the most sense, so that we get across, so that they
Yeah.
jump to the proper conclusion, because that's typically what it is with words. Is we say something and somebody else jumps to a conclusion. So do we try to help them as much as we can to get them to jump to the right conclusion, or at least in the right direction, or do we intentionally use it to have them jump in the wrong direction,
You
to
have
jump to the
literally just
wrong
described why
conclusion?
I hate email.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm so concerned about not what I'm saying, but I'm so concerned about what's being read, what's being interpreted, that it makes the process arduous. You know,
Right.
it's literally the reason I will do my best to not communicate through email. You know, I'd
Yeah.
much rather, also when you're
I
sarcastic,
swear,
it's hard to
written
communicate,
it's so hard. Written words are genuinely meant email or texting. It's meant for an exchange of facts,
Yeah,
not of ideas and feelings and interpretations. It's
right.
like, no, the party starts at 9. Okay, text the party starts at 9. Oh, you want to show up at 8:30 and you can show up at 8:30. Okay, but the more words you add and you can show up at 8:30. So what? That means you think I'm going to show up late and I need to get there early? Are you suggesting
Right.
that we're close enough friends that I can be one of the people that show up to your house early? Are you suggesting by telling me that I can show up early that I'm not that good a friend? Like then it starts adding it. The simple addition of but you can show up at 8:30 we think is a fact, but it implies so much more.
Yeah,
Whereas if you say the party starts at 9, they go, I know what that means. That means the party begins at 9.
right.
Then they
That's
can jump to
terrible.
the conclusion, I'm a close enough friend, I can show up at 8 or 8:30 and I can help you, or I can just show up early and we can, split a wine cooler,
Right.
or whatever they want. Like
Yeah.
you've given the fact, but the more words you add, you start injecting interpretation and spaces for
That is
misinterpretation.
ridiculous. You're completely right, but, like, I hate the amount of anxiety that is just the thought of all that is causing me right now. It
Right.
really is crazy where, like, less is more. Less is higher quality,
Huh?
and ooh,
Less means more direct.
yeah, that's
And it's
crazy.
so bad because so many of my clients, they'll tell me, yeah, I'll give you a real quick example. And I have to
Yeah,
tell people, be assertive, be direct. because it makes more sense. Now, I understand why I say that because I believe most people, again, I have to be careful with words because I know words are hard and they have to paint the correct picture. But when I assume that the other person is going to misinterpret what's coming out of my mouth, but then I think, well, I don't want to be super direct because then they might think I'm being a jerk
Right.
rather than being nice. I'm making assumptions about their character and their ability to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm being a jerk. I owe them to be direct. So when people think they're sugarcoating what they're asking for, they're being passive aggressive. And so I have to redefine it for them. Like they'll say, for instance, had somebody that was, they said that they were at their house, they had guests over, and there was a person, one of the family members was carrying, let's say, taking the trash out to the front. But it was a big box of stuff to
Mm-hmm.
carry out to the front. And this person said, I think they need help to the other person that was sitting there. And they were like, And then
Uh,
they were like, "Do you want to help them?" And they were like, "No. They're
nope.
just they're just moving the can real quick." And they're like, "No, they're not putting trash into the trash can. They're carrying the trash all out to the front and they need help to take it out there." And they're like, "Oh, do you want to help them?" "No." And I'm like, "Okay. Here's what you needed to do instead. It would have alleviated all of this miscommunication and confusion. Hey, Tommy needs help carrying that trash out to the front. I need you to hop up and help him carry the trash out to the front." "Oh, okay." You can't ask a kid,
Right. Right.
"Hey, they need help." "Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
hope they find it. Do you want to help them?" "Mm-mm.
Not
I'm
really.
sitting here. I'm sitting here eating my chips. No, I don't
Pretty
want to help
comfortable.
them."
Yep.
"Yeah, somebody else might want to." But if you tell a child, "Hey, hop up and go help your brother carry the trash out to the front," they go, "Okay."
Yeah.
Being direct helps them, helps you because you're not being driven crazy by saying, "I said they need help." And it's like, "I heard you say it." Like
Right.
I'm having to teach my child, um, when he wants something, he has to articulate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my God, just it's so simple. It's like, "Yeah, I'm really sad I didn't get to watch that show." "Hmm. Yeah, and it makes me so sad when I don't get to watch my show." "Uh-huh. What are you asking? Are you asking or are you making a statement?" "Well,
Right.
it's like if the show's on." "Okay. The show is on. You're correct. High five." "No." It like it starts freaking out. I'm like, hang on. Back up. What are you asking? What do you want? I'm gonna jump to a conclusion. I'm gonna jump to the
Right.
wrong one because
Right.
I don't know where your mind is. I don't know where your brain is. "Well, can I watch it?" "Oh, yes, you can watch it. Go put your pajamas on and you can watch your show."
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, we said you couldn't watch the show because your pajamas aren't on, but you didn't ask why you couldn't watch the show. You just started telling us why you're so sad
Right.
that you can't watch the show." And I'm like, well, that's good. Maybe that sadness will kick you into gear and go put your pajamas on. But I didn't say that either. I just said
Right.
good,
Right.
expecting him to jump to the same conclusion. We are just all jumping to conclusions over and over and never the right ones. Almost never.
Right.
So
What we need is a mat with different conclusions that you can jump to. We could call it the jump to conclusions mat. Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, a little
Yeah.
Office Space reference. I it's so funny too because I not so much in that stage now, though that kind of thing does happen with a
Mhm.
17-year-old. Uh,
Uh-huh.
but I remember those exact kind of things, and I'm like, I am not gonna sit here and like read your mind. Like,
Right.
and the thing is, like, I'm not an idiot. I know what you want, right? I'm not
Uh-huh.
saying these things out loud, but it's like I need you to
You
learn
just say.
how to
Uh,
advocate for yourself here, right?
yes. Oh my gosh, that is our favorite term at the house now.
Is it really?
Is advocate for, yes, you have to. I have to teach all my 20-year-old. Nope, he's 21. I'm teaching my 21-year-old. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, no, I could call your work and then tell them or ask them this thing, but that's your dad doing it. You're
Right.
21. I'm going to teach you how to do it yourself.
Right.
Well, yeah, but what if they what? What if they assume that you're an adult and that you can make decisions and that you know what's best for you in your life? And then when you ask for something, they go, he must really want it because he's asking for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, oh, well, I suppose if you put it that way, I'm like, yes, the way we describe things define it.
Yes. Well, it's
So
so funny
let's,
too, like, if you don't advocate for yourself, if you don't, let's say, promote your own thing, no one else is.
right.
Like, I actually would tell you I'm probably really bad at that. Well, um, I maybe don't wanna give that life, right? But in the
Right.
past, I have been so worried about coming across as, um, too self-promotional that I
Yeah.
did 0 promotion. And
Sure.
I'm in this, like, this thing where it's like, if I'm not in my own corner, then no one's gonna be in my corner with me. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So, um,
Yep.
it's the reason
I
that you need to get on here and talk about, being Bernard. It's the reason that we talk about roast of the week and all the things, because if
Mhm.
we're not gonna start a conversation, who will?
No one else is gonna talk about it. I have come to the place in my life, maybe it's because I'm older now, but I'm come to the place in my life where is if I enjoy something or if I think it's good, I'm going to tell people about it. I
Yeah.
understand that a long time ago, that's word of mouth advertising. It is what it is, but that's it. Like the other day, I was sitting at Hop Keto. Everybody in devotees know that I do that.
Devotees. Yeah.
I'm sitting in a Hop Keto class, and we've been trying to get some new people because we're getting top heavy, right? There's not
Okay.
a lot of new white belts coming in, but that's seasonal. It happens, and then within a few months, you kind of move up, and then there's no new people. So, uh, Master McClendon put up this flyer, and it's like, hey, if you've ever considered Hop Keto, whatever, I got this package, and here's the deal, and here's a, you know, summer special or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you know what? That is a really good flyer. Number one, he did a decent job of making the flyer. Number two, I'm pictured in it. So I'm like, it's took
Oh,
a
there you go.
picture of
Yeah.
the whole class, and you can only see the back of my head, but I know it's me.
Right.
So like I get my camera and I take a picture and I post it on Facebook. And I okay, 5 years ago I would have said Facebook's not a real thing, but it is here. Like people
Yeah.
genuinely still use it. And
Yeah.
so I posted it. I posted it in Let's Talk Papillion, Let's Talk Ralston, because we're right there. We're one street off of Ralston and Papillion.
Okay.
So anybody in that area they could benefit from it. It's right around the corner. Come on over. And I thought I could try to be super promotional about and be like, hey guy, if you're it. And I was like, you know what? If you're interested in stretching your mind,
Mhm.
your body, come and join our community. Like come in and see what we've got to offer.
Nice.
I'm enjoying it. And then I just posted it. And it was funny because I didn't tell Master McClendon I was going to do that. He doesn't ask us to do that.
Sure.
He promotes his own stuff. He does everything. And he was like, hey, dude, I saw your post because I recognized the flyer. And he's like, I was going through Let's Talk Papillion, chatting people up. There's a bunch of people asking about, the Hapkido school and what we're doing. And he's like, and then I saw your post. And it meant a lot that you posted that. So I appreciate it. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I really enjoy going, and I think others would too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to share that. I'm not getting paid. He's not telling me I don't need it for that.
Right.
But when I'm there, if somebody else is, let's say there's another 50-year-old person who's like, I'd really like to do something, but dude, you can take martial arts. This martial art was designed for a 90-pound woman to take on a 250-pound man
Yeah.
because you're not using force, brute force. You're using their weight and momentum and friction and stuff, using circular motion. So it's easy on your joints. There's a few things like the break fall that is a little bit difficult for me to. I'm not there yet. But for the most part, most of the stuff is really fluid. It's
Yeah.
about learning to be fluid and balanced. And so all of that has helped me immensely. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, if I could talk about that, I'm gonna. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna promote what I find valuable. And what I'm
Right.
doing now with the Being Bernard videos, I think has some value,
Yeah.
some intrinsic value in it. And so I don't mind. It doesn't feel schmarmy to talk
Right.
about that.
Right.
Whereas before, when I was like, oh, I'm gonna promote the thing that I'm not even happy with, I felt off
Yeah. Yeah.
doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, nope, you know what? I'm going to talk about things I like. I enjoy sugar-free Red Bull. I drink I drink 2 or 3 a week. I probably ought not. I
How
drink
about
the
the monk
small
fruit
ones.
ones? Have you tried the new monk fruit ones?
I have not.
Oh, I actually think they're
I
even
haven't.
better. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, well then
But
I'll give that a shot. I'll give it a try. But yeah, I
well, on
feel
the whole
like if there's
social
something
thing,
I enjoy,
right?
I want
Like,
to do it. Yeah.
social media is literally word of mouth. That's what
Right.
that's the reason social media has so much like presence in our life. It's because we're keeping up with people that we're associated with, whether it's friends or family or people we met one time at a winery. Um,
Right.
True story. But it's if you're looking for a plumber, right? You can
Huh?
go on and you can, hey, friends and family, or hey, people in Papillion, right? Need a plumber,
Right.
got a leak, and whoever you're referred to, you're inherently going to trust because it's coming from someone you quote unquote know. And
Right.
that's a lot different than going to the yellow pages and just finding an ad. There's like,
Correct.
doesn't matter how many the ratings and the Better Business Bureau and all the things, like
Right.
getting a referral from an acquaintance is comes with the highest level of authority.
Level
And
of
so
trust.
yeah, like
Yeah.
actually I'm thinking about this whole, it's a whole other thing. It's probably a different episode, but just kind of a touch into like social and advertising and stuff, right?
Yeah.
One, you did, your hop keto place like a favor by posting, not because they asked you to, because you wanted to share this thing, right?
Right.
And I think that that's genuine, and it comes across as genuine because you're not looking for eyeballs. You're not like, hey, please try
Uh-huh.
this,
Um,
right?
right. Right.
But I think ads on social can have that similar vibe, right? Instead of just
Mhm.
being like, hey, here's an ad, it's in your face, you can't skip it, you know. Um,
Right.
this goes back to stuff Eric Yoon was talking about, when we had him on, like hey, Papillion, this gym is helping people, middle-aged people, with flexibility and strength and a confidence they never had before. And like that right
Right.
there gets attention. It's a call out to people that live there. So immediately, if you live in Papillion, you're like, oh, wait a minute, right?
Right.
And then it's
And then
it's
middle
not
aged,
like
and then they're like, "Nope, that's not me," or "Yep, that's me." And
exactly. It's
so it
that
tick, tick,
qualifier,
tick.
right? So it's if it's a
Yeah, it just
magnet,
keeps
it's pushing or
qualifying.
pulling. Yes. And
Yeah.
so anyway, all of that to say, like the reach that for like so little money, um, the reach that you could get. I'll just gonna quote some numbers from the past
Yeah.
30 days.
Yeah, give me an idea because I know you're doing some stuff with that, and I don't want to glaze over
Yeah.
the idea of being able to run ads and do the social and using social ads,
Yeah.
especially after talking to Eric, because I'm like, "Dude, he's" that interview actually raised so many more questions for me where I'm like, we need to talk about all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
there are ways to dial down the ads and who they get shown to where you're already at a fairly qualified place and then you can very quickly differentiate
Right.
and segment those people and then get the leads that you're looking for. So it
Right.
makes so much more sense to do that. But I think the idea of trying to run through that process or do that is so overwhelming. I've run ads, I've done those things, and I'm
Yeah.
still not comfortable even considering it
Yeah. Well,
without assistance.
let's
So
just talk
let's
like it's so approachable where it didn't used to be, right? And
okay.
Eric's big thing was like, man, I'll make like 8 different versions of a video and just test them. I'll run them for a couple days and see what works. If they're not working after a couple days, then I'll drop them, or I- and
Right,
that's A/B split testing to like the nth degree, right? But
right,
that kind of thing back in the day when you're talking like broadcast was
oh,
thousands and thousands of dollars, right? Per month.
right,
Um, and just to give an example, like I'm not going to say who it is, but we have a client that's, let's just say they're spending $15 a day.
okay,
It's not a big spend. It's not a big ad spend, but the reach that we were
right,
able to get, it's a targeted. but not super targeted ad.
Okay.
So, female between, 25 and 50 or something like that. In the span of 7 days, our impressions on this video ad were 59,000 for 1 week, and the reach was
Okay.
like 29. The next week, we really, really dialed and we eliminated some more people, really trying to drill in to
Okay.
who the target market is.
Yes.
And we got down to 19,000, I think,
Okay.
impressions. And the reach was a little bit less than 50%. So the idea is basically each person is seeing this ad 2.1 times, right?
Okay.
And as we're dialing in, as we're, drilling down, the well, I can just tell you, I'm excited about the last 4 days, this last week. Our
Okay.
leads have shot up over 1,000% versus what they were doing the first 4 weeks of the campaign. And so,
Okay.
all
I was like,
within
because the goal is to get qualified leads,
the goal is to get
right?
qualified leads, and they're just spending $15 a day. You don't have to spend $15 a day. It's kind of my point. Like $15 a day
Right.
is what? That's $450 a month. You don't have to
Mhm.
spend that much. Spend spend 50 bucks and see what kind of
Yeah.
reach you can get. You're going to get thousands and thousands of views. Now, is all of it is everyone watching to the end? No.
Right.
But if you spent
But as you
$50 a
continue
month,
to dial down, you get to where you can spend less and less and less and less and reach the right people
right,
to get those qualified leads where you go, I'm not spending any money because what I'm pouring in at the top is paying out more than what I put in at the top, which
right,
then becomes a matter of it gets that's where it gets scary for me, and I know it shouldn't, but that's where it gets scary because you're like, now how do we scale it? Because you can
right.
scale up to a point where it's no longer viable because it's like if you're running within a 2 mile radius, because those are your primary clients. And so you're running in that area and you're showing it and you're doing this, and you're like, well, if I up my spend to double it, am I doubling the amount of qualified leads? And if the answer is no, then you're
Not necessarily. Yeah,
overspending for what you should have, or,
right. You're just
so
hitting the
there
same
comes a
people.
point where
Yeah,
the returns, like it kind of whatever, where the graph does the opposite thing, where you're
yes,
overspending for nothing
right.
versus the most valuable for most value bang for your buck.
Well, and you just nailed it. Like, Eric Yoon talks about that, it's 10-mile marketing. That's the name of his business. Um, I mean, just think of 2 miles. If you were trying to get, let's say, you weren't going after patients, because I don't know what the rules
Clients.
are on advertising, right? With
Right.
being in the mental health space. But let's say you
Right.
were going after clients that we were coaching, right? So it's not as
Oh,
a
let's just go with that. Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. I got
So then you could literally you could dial it into like 500 feet around this place, you know, an Amazon facility. There's an Amazon facility, 10 miles away from where we are. And
you.
if
Right.
I really wanted to, if I knew, um, if I wanted to, I don't know, poach the type of people that worked at Amazon and get, you know, a an employee like that. I had a business that like I could literally just target 500 feet around that building, a
Right.
mile around the building, and serve a bunch of ads where it's like not making enough money and you're blah blah blah. Need better benefits
If
and
they're
just go
working in a
after.
warehouse and you're looking for warehouse people, you could run an ad for your job and just post it to them.
Yeah,
And then so no, somebody working in an office isn't seeing your ad. It's just the people working in the warehouse.
I had this
That really
I had
makes
this
sense.
thought the other day, and it's probably it's an incomplete thought, but I laughed in my head because I was like,
Okay.
if I really wanted to get a job somewhere, like I knew the businesses or a few different businesses I wanted to get a job at, I would promote myself using social ads and speak directly to the people that are in charge. And like, yes, it's gonna go and it's gonna show to people that are not those people, but it
Right.
also might get those people and make it
But you're gonna
intriguing
get
enough.
that person if you're like, "Hey, hiring agent at, the Facebook
Right, right.
facility or at
I mean,
Hewitt
literally, so in my
Construction."
situation, let's say it was doing, digital advertising, or I was, creative, director or something, I would
Right.
just be like, Are you looking for a creative director? Are you looking for someone that really knows digital marketing? Well, looks like you found them. You know, and just then point them
Right.
towards your landing page, your resume, like whatever. I don't know. Like I said, it's not a very complete thought, but I was just laughing in my head. I was thinking about it the other day. Like that
How
is
to advertise yourself as an employee,
exactly, exactly.
because it's always the employer advertising their spot, and
Well,
then
because
you're
how do you
fighting
stand
against all
out
the
if
other
in a
people.
position that 100 people applied for?
Right.
How do you stand out? And again, like that's not for everyone, but it's a tempting thing to
Right.
try. I
But
mean, I'm
it
not looking
sounds
for a
like
job, but
honestly, I'm looking at I'm like my am I I'm jumping to conclusions, right? I'm like anybody looking to apply for a job making 250, 300, they've got a few dollars to run some ads. They've
right,
got enough space and bandwidth to say that makes sense to me. Like they're in a different market. They are applying for a different type of job. This isn't an entry level job that you need to
right,
stand out for.
right.
This that you just need to know someone there who goes, no, give them a chance. But
And you don't need to spend a lot of money.
if you're looking for a job making two, three, 400 grand, like there's this much smaller pool, and then they're not sure who you are. They now know who you are before they ever make the call, and they're now calling you for
Mhm.
the job. So you've reached out first, but it doesn't look like you did because you're running the ad. Then
Right,
they have to reach out to you, which then cognitive dissonance won't allow them to reach out to you if they didn't have a genuine interest,
right.
meaning you've already got a foot in the door. And then you simply follow up with what was it about my thing that made you want to call me for this job? And now they have to defend their reaching out to you, telling you why they want you for the job.
Yeah.
So man, there's just a lot of psychology there. I really like that idea. Maybe there's a I don't have the anyway. Let's
Yeah.
let's let's
It's a
well, let's
conversation
not
for
put
another
that on a
time.
podcast. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's save that for
yeah.
something else.
Let's
Um,
let's do some mastermind work behind the scenes. Um,
yeah, for
but
sure.
yeah, I mean, like, even because again, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You could just target, a very
You
small
target the
radius.
right people, you niche that down, you're showing it to your hope is to show it to 15 people, not 1,500. Like, you
Yeah,
only need the right 15 people to see it.
right. Well,
So
and it also kind of goes back to, the conversations we were having with James about like the hailstorms and dentless or paintless dent repair.
right.
Really getting down to like a really tight, this is where, there was hail damage. Like,
This section of this zip code of
ah,
this 4-block radius, those are
yeah,
the people we need to be targeting. Yeah. So,
it is
there's
a
ways to
wild, wild
really,
west, man.
really target your ad spend, which I think is super exciting. But I feel like that's a whole episode worth of talking.
It is.
Um,
It may be a
so
series.
it could easily be, honestly,
Yeah.
because between Google ads, Facebook ads, like TikTok, like all the different things, it's very much different markets.
Right.
So depending on who it is you're trying to target, there's definitely different plays and ways to get there. Yeah, I feel like that could be a series.
Yeah.
If nothing else, at least one good one, and then if we branch off, we can add more to it.
That's
So
true.
if you have any interest in hearing or learning about ads, social ads, internet ads, but media ads that are video driven, not just ads or not just language, just words, or maybe just words. I don't know. Let us know in the
Yeah.
comments
Well, and
what
also
you're looking
like
for, so we can.
it would be hypocritical if I said all that and didn't say that I don't necessarily believe in advertising until you've put your processes in place. Like what are you going to do? Are you just advertising to people to say buy from me, or are you going to give them something? You try to like get them
Sure.
information. Like
Well,
you try to generate a lead.
man. And that honestly goes back to what is your goal of advertising? Are you
Right.
Pepsi just trying to say, "Hey, we're still here,"
Sugar
or
water.
are you saying like, are you a teenager who's thirsty who wants to get your energy up and like are you doing something? Are you offering them something,
Yeah.
or are you just trying to get brand recognition? Like, oh, by the
Right.
way, Nike. Yeah, I don't need to see an ad that's like, are you running and I know what Nike is and what they do. I just need to be reminded that they're at the store
Yeah. Yeah. Now
when I'm
branding,
about
man,
to buy.
that's where just branding and not really trying to generate leads or anything like that. Like you could
It's
really,
different.
yeah, and it is still important, right? Um, it's just a different part of that overall plan, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
that's more the cool versus the hot
I mean,
customers.
honestly,
So,
if you're single, just throwing ideas out there, right? Um, don't even do video ads, just do banner ads and promote yourself around, the type of areas that you want to go after those types of other singles, right? And you could just be really popular really, really quickly just by having your picture all over social media. I mean,
yeah,
that's like, I know
just
it
your
sounds
picture
ridiculous.
being up because they'll recognize you. Now when they see you at that restaurant, that bar, that tattoo parlor, whatever, they're like, "Ah," and they feel like they know you, right?
Yes.
Automatically, they have that familiarity, and you'll know as the person, you'll know who's seen your ad enough because when they look at you, they raise their eyebrow like, "Wait, where do I recognize you from?" And then you have an easy open to go talk to them. My God, that's genius
I mean, again, I'm using
because
ridiculous
that's so
examples because
much.
I don't want to actually divulge the things I'm working on right now. But yeah,
No,
I
but
mean, like,
that's
yeah,
such a good idea. Like psychologically speaking, that is a win-win because you're looking for the ice break. The ice break is they're hey, and they're like, "Do I know you?" And you're like,
yeah,
you have an easy now conversation break, and have fun with it. You could just say, "Well, I'm not going to answer any specific questions. I'm just going to use and get them to open up to me. So when they say, 'Do I know you?' then you're like, did you go to, well, no, that's a question. Did you go to such and so high school or whatever?" So you have to do it in a way where you're not asking questions.
right.
You're just making a statement. And you're like, well, we are going to go for another 30 minutes if
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I realized I'm getting like I can feel my pulse increasing and I'm like, this is exciting conversation topic.
right, right.
So no, no.
The
All
brain's
right.
starting to
So
tingle.
yeah, let's call it because
Yeah,
I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, dude, we've been like an hour and 20. Like this is a
yeah,
long
it's a
one.
longer one. But
So
it is. Let's for the devotees. We just went a little longer today. Um,
yeah,
yeah. So things that are coming up. Obviously, you have more Being Bernard that's going to be released. We'll continue to link that in the show notes for those that haven't checked
right.
out Being Bernard. I find it highly entertaining, and it's just going to continue to get better. Let's
Yeah.
see. What else did we learn today? We learned how to ask questions without asking
No,
questions.
we learned how to get answers
How to get
without asking
answers without
questions.
asking questions. Yes.
Yep.
Um, and we learned that you can spend a little bit of money and get a lot of reach on social media. I don't know why this has turned into an episode recap, but maybe that's something we should do at the end of
Maybe.
our things. I don't know. Yeah, it
Yeah,
might.
because then we can like at least acknowledge to ourselves what it was we talked
Yeah, we
about, what
did
we want
actually
to
do
talk about
something.
next.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right, man. Well, this was fun. And
Yep.
until next week, mind your business. Hey, thanks for listening to the Minding Your Business podcast. Your hosts are Aaron Gerals and me, CJ Jolliffe. If you want to find out more about us or when we're going live or follow us on socials, just go to our website, mybpodcast.com. And again, thank you so much for listening.